Hello class 5th, good evening everyone. So today we will continue with the second part of the chapter skeletal system and nervous system of science, okay? In the first part we studied about the skeletal system of our body. Today we will continue with the nervous system. This will be your second part of the chapter, alright? So let us see the contents of the nervous system. What are we going to study today? So students, the contents of the nervous system are, first we will study about the brain, then spinal cord, nerves, reflex section and the sense organs of our body. Alright, this will be the content: brain, spinal cord, nerves, reflex section and the sense organs of our body. So students, let us begin with nervous system. Now what do you mean by nervous system? Nervous system controls the different organs of the body. The different organs that is present in our body, the functioning of the different organs is controlled by the nervous system of our body. Okay? And what are the different organs that is connected with this nervous system? It is written there. The nervous system controls the different organs in our body. Okay, all the functioning of the organs, everything are controlled by the nervous system. Alright. Then the brain, the spinal cord and the nerves that is present in our body. These are the different organs that is connected with this nervous system. The brain, the spinal cord and the nerves that is present in our body form the different parts of our nervous system. Okay, then the brain is the control center of the entire body. And you know what? The brain, our brain, it controls the system of our entire body. Our entire body is controlled by the one and only organ, that is brain. Okay, it may also be called as the human computer, and our brain is also called as human computer. Why? Because whatever we do, it all depends on the brain. Our brain, it controls all the functioning of our body. That is why it may also be called as human computer. As we work on the computer, yes or no, everything, whatever we do, it is everything controlled by the central processing unit of the computer. In the same way, our brain is also the central processing unit. Whatever we do, everything is controlled by the brain. Okay? Then nerves are found throughout the body. And these nerves, which carries different stimulus or different sensation to the brain, everything it is present in the nerves is present in our body, which carries the stimulus or the sensation, okay, to the brain, and the brain help us to think and it controls the functions of the body. Alright, they carry messages back and forth like the telephone wires. And what is the function of this nerve? It carries the messages. Stimulus means, for example, say if you touch a hot object or something, you feel hot, yes or no? Now your brain tells you what to do. When you feel a hot object, you withdraw your hand immediately. All these things are controlled by the nerve, which carries the message like a telephone wire to the brain. And then again brain sends you the response what you have to do. Okay? Then the spinal cord is a bundle of nerves that carries message between the brain and the rest of the body. And what is spinal cord? It is actually a bundle of nerves where many nerves are connected to each other, which carries messages between the brain and the different parts of the body. Okay, the messages which is carried to the brain and different part of the body, everything is controlled by the spinal cord, or it is sent through the spinal cord. Okay, so these are the different parts of the nervous system. So now students, let us study about the brain. Alright. The brain is a very important organ that controls our body movement and help us to store information in our memory. The human brain has three parts: cerebrum, cerebellum and medulla. Brain is the most important part of the body. Why? Because everything, all the functioning of the body and all the body movements is controlled by the brain. All the functioning and all the movement of the body is controlled by the brain, as it also stores information in the memory. Whatever we read, whatever we talk, how we need to speak, everything that is stored as an information in the brain. The brain helps us to do different type of work. Okay, without brain we will not be able, the body will not be able to function properly. The brain must be very active. Alright, see, and the brain has got three parts. What are the three different parts? That is cerebrum, cerebellum and medulla. You can see the picture and you can make out the upper portion is the cerebrum, then the middle one, that is cerebellum, and medulla, the thin pipe-like structure that is leading towards the neck, that is the medulla oblongata. The medulla is also called as medulla oblongata. Okay, the different parts of the brain, see, cerebrum, then midbrain, then cerebellum, pons, medulla oblongata and spinal cord. These are the different parts that is connected to the brain. In the picture you can see. Alright, so now let us study about the cerebrum. What is cerebrum? Cerebrum is the largest part of the human brain and is responsible for learning, memory, intelligence and logic. It also controls the functioning of the sense organ. Now what is this cerebrum? This cerebrum is the largest part of the brain. You can see in the picture the whole large part, that is the cerebrum. And what is its function? It helps us in learning, memorizing things. Whatever we learn, whatever we memorize, everything is done with the help of this cerebrum, which is the largest part of the human brain. Okay, it is responsible for memory intelligence. Memory intelligence means whatever we read, whatever we see, we keep that in our mind. Yes or no? We memorize. Everything is done with the help of this cerebrum. Okay, and it also controls the functioning of the sense organs, the different sense organs that is present in our body, like eyes, nose, ears, skin, tongue. When we eat something, we get the taste. And how is the taste recognized by our body? With the help of this cerebrum. It helps us to recognize the taste of the food that we eat. That is why it is said that this cerebrum controls the functioning of the sense organs that is present in our body. Alright. So now let us move to the next part, that is cerebellum. Now what is this cerebellum? Cerebellum is situated below the cerebrum. First there is a cerebrum in the brain, the first part of the brain, that is cerebrum. After that comes the cerebellum and is responsible for muscle coordination and maintaining the balance of the body. The balance of the body and the muscle contraction, it is controlled and functioned by this cerebellum. Okay, sometimes we faint down, yes or no? Sometimes we get a spin in our head or we faint down. That means this cerebellum, it fails the proper functioning of the body. That is why sometimes when we feel giddiness or our head spins, we fall down because of the improper functioning of this cerebellum in the brain. It helps in the it is responsible for muscle contraction and it maintains the balance of the body. While you stand, while you sit, you have a balance in your body. Yes or no? While standing, while sitting, while playing, while running, you have a balance in your body. You just don't fall down when you sit or when you stand. Everything is controlled. This is controlled by the cerebellum of the brain. Okay. Then the next one is medulla or medulla oblongata. You can also call it as medulla or medulla oblongata. oblongata, that is oblongata. Okay. It is also called the brain stem. This medulla is called as the brain stem, as I told you, which leads, it is a pipe-like structure that leads to the neck portion. Okay. It controls the activities such as heartbeat, breathing, swallowing and sneezing. The activities such as our heart beats continuously 24 hours. Yes or no? How is this controlled in our body? It is controlled by this medulla. Okay, when we breathe, we keep on breathing. We don't think and we breathe. Yes or no? Our breathing process is involuntary. That means we have no control on our breathing process. We continuously breathe. And how is this function controlled? It is controlled by medulla. When we swallow, the food gets inside our stomach. This function is also controlled by the medulla. And when we sneeze, we freeze for some time. Yes or no? This is also controlled by the medulla part of the brain. I hope you understood this. How many parts does the brain have? A brain has got 3 parts. The first part is cerebrum, which is also the largest part of the human brain. Okay, and it is responsible for learning purpose, for memory, intelligence and logic. And it also functions the different sense organ. The functions of the different sense organ is controlled by this cerebrum. Okay. Then comes cerebellum, which is situated below cerebrum. Okay, and it is responsible for muscle contraction and for maintaining the balance of the body. And the next is medulla, which is also called as medulla oblongata. Okay, and it is called the brain of the stem because it reaches to the neck region. Okay, and it controls the activities such as heartbeat, breathing, swallowing and sneezing. All these kind of activities are controlled by medulla. Okay, now let us move to the next topic. So now students, let us study about the spinal cord. Now what is spinal cord? The spinal cord is a thick cord of nerve tissue that extend down from the brain stem. The brain stem, that is medulla, it extends, that means it comes down from that medulla. The spinal cord is connected to that medulla, which comes down to the back of the backbone, which is connected with the backbone. The backbone protects this spinal cord. I already told you in the skeletal system, the spinal cord is protected by the backbone. Yes or no? And this spinal cord, it is a thick cord of nerve tissue. The nerves are present in this spinal cord. It is a thick tissue of nerve that extends down from the brain stem. It is situated at the back of your head. Alright. It is surrounded and protected by the backbone. This spinal cord, it is surrounded and protected by the backbone. You can see in the picture the yellow part, that is the spinal cord. Okay, and it is protected by the backbone of our body. The spinal cord is responsible for transfer of information between the brain and the rest of the body. And what is the function of the spinal cord? It transfers the message. It transfers the activities, the message that is going on in our body to the brain, and again the response from the brain, it sends to our body. Okay, it even controls the action that do not involve the brain. Such actions are called as reflex action. Now what is reflex action? The quick and sudden action of your body. Suppose a mosquito bites you and suddenly you pick up your hand and you immediately beat or hit that portion of the body. That means the brain do not get time to think what you need to do. Okay, for example, one more example I will give you. When you are burning something, or when your skin touches an hot object, you suddenly or immediately you withdraw your hand from that hot object. Yes or no? That is the reflex action. That means where the brain is not involved suddenly. The brain is not involved to think at that moment, and you do the actions immediately or very quickly. That is called as reflex action. The action that is done very immediately or quickly without the involvement of the brain to think. Those actions are called as reflex action, and this spinal cord is responsible to control the reflex action of our body. Sometimes when we keep on blinking our eye keep on blinking without our knowledge. Yes or no? Sometimes only we notice that our eye is blinking, but our eye keeps on blinking. All these actions are controlled by this spinal cord, the beating of the heart and all. Okay, these are the reflex action. Reflex actions are those actions in which you do not have immediate control. These actions happen immediately without your knowing. Alright? So now students, let us study about nerves. Nerves are a network that run through our body, carrying message to and from the brain, spinal cord and other part of the body. Now what is nerve? It is a network of the veins that runs through our body, that carries information from the spinal cord to the brain, and it sends to all the part of the body. Okay, there are three main type of nerve. How many type of nerves are there? Three main types. The first one is sensory nerve, then motor nerve, and then mixed nerve. There are three types of nerve in our body. First one is sensory nerve, motor nerve and mixed nerve. Alright. Sensory nerve, it carries message from the different part of the body to the brain or spinal cord. What does the sensory nerve do? It carries message from the different part of the body to the brain and or the spinal cord. Okay. Then motor nerve, it carries message from the brain or spinal cord to the different part of the body. From the brain and spinal cord, the message is sent to the different parts of the body. That means the actions. What actions are you going to do? That is controlled by this motor nerve. It carries the messages. Okay. And mixed nerve, it carries messages in both ways. From the brain or spinal cord to the different part of the body, and from the different part of the body to the brain or spinal cord. Okay, it is mixed. The messages are carried together from brain to spinal cord to the whole part of the body, else from the whole part of the body to the brain and the spinal cord. Alright, so there are three types of nerve, that is sensory, motor and mixed nerve. Sensory nerve, it carries the information or the messages from the different part of the body to the brain, to the spinal cord or brain. And motor nerve, it carries message from the brain or spinal cord to the different part of the body. And mixed nerve, it works in both ways. It carries messages from the brain and spinal cord to the different part of the body, and from the different part of the body to the brain or to the spinal cord. So now students, now it is reflex action. What is reflex action? The automatic response of the body to a particular stimulus is called a reflex action. Okay, it is an automatic response of the body. When we don't know what we need to respond, when our brain doesn't get involved in thinking what functioning is to be done by our body when we touch any object or when we come in contact to different object, that action is called as reflex action. Stimulus means something that stimulus is a action that is carried, that is a message that is carried to the brain which tells us what to do. The response that we get from the brain after the stimulus reaches to the brain. Okay, most reflex actions takes place due to message sent by spinal cord. The brain is not involved, and this most of the reflex action is placed. Why? Because the message that is carried, it is through the spinal cord and not the brain. The involvement of the brain is not there. Then this reflex action takes place. Okay, reflex actions are very immediate and fast. That means you do not have time to think. Our brain thinks and tells us what to do, yes or no? But when the message reaches to the spinal cord, automatically the different part of your body, it reacts. Okay, it reacts to the stimulus. The response that you get to the stimulus by the quick reaction of the spinal cord, that is the reflex action. Okay, it is an example written there. I have already told you. If we touch a hot object accidentally, we immediately withdraw our hand. Thus, touching the fire acts as a stimulus. That means touching the hot object, it acts as the stimulus, that is the message that is being sent to the spinal cord, and withdrawing the hand suddenly or quickly, immediately, that is the response that you are getting from the spinal cord, so that your body needs to function it. Else when you keep on touching the hot object, your hand will burn. So as to protect your body part from getting burned, this spinal cord, it gives you the response that what you need to do. Okay, reflex action is the quick and immediate action that takes place without the involvement of the brain, and the messages is sent to the spinal cord instead of reaching to the brain. Alright. And now students, let us study about the sense organs of our body. Our body has 5 sense organs. We all know how many sense organs are there? 5 sense organs. That is eye, nose, ears, tongue and skin. And why are these called as sense organs? Because it helps us to sense the things that is present around us. Alright. See, eyes, it helps us to see the world around us. With the help of the eye, we see what is there, what is present around us. Without eyes, everything would be blank and black around us. Yes or no? We will not be able to see anything. A pair of eye is present within the eye socket of the skull. The skeletal system skull, I already told you. We have an eye socket. This is the eye socket, inside which our eye is present. Okay. The flap-like eyelids cover the eyes and lashes present on the eye to protect it from dirt. And what is present in our eye? The eyelashes that protects the eye from the dirt. And anything, if it enters inside our eye, suddenly our eye blink down. Yes or no? That is the reflex action of the body. That is the reflex action of the body, that if something is coming towards your eye, you suddenly blink your eyes down. That means the stimulus is directly reaching to the spinal cord, by which you are getting that response that you need to blink your eye down. And that eyelid, it protects the eye. Okay. Then the different part of the eye, you know, there are different parts of the eyes. We have different parts in our eyes. The first is cornea, iris, pupil, retina, lens and optic nerve. These are the different parts of the eye. What are those? First it is cornea. Okay. Then iris. Then pupil, retina, lens and optic nerve. Let us study about these different parts of the eye. So students, the different part of the eye, that is cornea. What is cornea? This is the thin transparent layer that covers the front of the eye. The thin transparent layer that covers the eye, that is cornea. Okay, it is the thin transparent layer that covers the front of the eye, this part, the thin transparent part, that is called as cornea. You can see in the picture, it is mentioned there in the image. Then iris. What is iris? The round colored part of the eye present behind cornea. This, the round colored part, that is called as cornea. You have two parts, yes or no? The whitish part and the round ball one. That is the iris, the colored part, the round colored part of the eye. That is called as what? That is iris. And the cornea is the one that it is the transparent layer that covers the eye. Okay? Then pupil. What is pupil? Opening present at the center of the iris. Light enters the eye through pupil. You know, in this big round ball of the eye, there is a small ball inside the iris. That is the pupil. The light reflects in the pupil of the eye, which gets sent to the nerve. And then the picture is formed in our optic nerve, that is the lens, which is present in the eye. It is formed there. And then our brain recognizes what thing we are looking or we are seeing. Okay? Then what is retina? Lining present behind the eye where light falls and image is formed. What is retina? It is the line that is present behind the eye. The line that is present behind the eye, that is the retina, where the light falls and the image is formed. Okay? Then there is lens, located just behind pupil. Behind the pupil there is a lens that is located in our eye. It helps us to focus the light. Okay? Students, when you go on a very sharp light, your eyes just shut down immediately. Yes or no? That means it helps to locate, or it helps us to focus the light. How much light our eye can take, and it is able to see things. Even in dim light, our eyes get we cannot see things in the dim light because our eyes do not focus the dim lights. Okay, so all this lens, it is located behind the pupil, which helps to focus the light of the surrounding, by which we can see the things. Okay, when you go into a dark room, can you see anything? We cannot see anything, because why? Our lens is not being able to focus the light in our eye. That is why we are not able to see the things in a dark room. And even when we see directly to the sun, our eye suddenly shuts down because it is not able to focus that sharp light that enters in our eye. Okay? Then optic nerve. What is this optic nerve? Message sent from the retina is carried to the brain from the optic nerve. The light that gets inside our eye, or the image that is formed in our lens, this optic nerve, it sends that image to our brain, and then our brain recognizes, and we come to know what are we seeing and what are we looking. Okay, so these are the different parts of the eye: cornea, iris, pupil, retina, lens, and optic nerve. Cornea is the thin transparent layer of the eye. Then iris, the colored part of your eye, that is the iris. Pupil, the small opening in that ball, that is the pupil. And retina, it is present behind the lining of the eye where the image is formed. Lens, it helps us to locate or focus the light from the surrounding. And optic nerve, it sends the message to the brain. Whatever we see, it is carried through this optic nerve to the brain, by which we can make out what are we seeing around us. Okay? And now students, let us study about ears and its different parts. Okay? Even our ears has got different parts. Our ears help us to hear the sound from the surrounding. Yes or no? The sound that we hear, it is heard by the ear. A pair of ears are present, one on each side of the head. Pair of ears, one on each side of the head. Each ear is divided into three parts. Our ear is also divided into three parts. That is the outer ear. This is the outer ear. Then the middle ear, the mid portion of the ear. And then the inner ear, which is present here. Okay, the nerves or the different parts that is present here, this portion, that is the inner ear. Okay, the different parts of an ear are pinna. What are the different parts of the ear? I'll tell you. There are three parts of the ear: outer ear, middle ear and inner ear. Okay, and in this different parts also there are different part of the ear. The first one is pinna, ear canal, eardrum, middle ear and cochlea. Cochlea is the inner part of the ear. Cochlea is known as the inner part of the ear, which is situated inside the ear. Okay. And the middle portion, in the middle portion there is ear canal, eardrum. Okay. See, pinna. What is pinna? The outer visible part. It receives the sound and passes it through the ear canal to the eardrum. This pinna is the outer part of the ear. This is the pinna. This is the pinna of the ear. Okay. Then comes the ear canal, the hole that you can see in your ears. That is the ear canal, from which the sound waves it passes from the pinna to the eardrum. The sound it passes from the ear and hits in the eardrum that is present inside this ear canal. Okay. Then comes the eardrum. Thin membrane-like structure that vibrates on receiving sound. These vibrations are passed to the middle ear. Whatever we listen around us, it enters from this ear canal and that sound hits into the eardrum, which and those vibration is passed to the middle ear. Okay, made of three bones. This middle ear is made of three small bones. And what are the name of those bones? Those are malleus, incus and stapes. What are the three bones present in the middle ear? This middle ear is made up of three bones, three small bones. The name of the three bones is malleus, M-A-L-L-E-U-S, malleus, then incus, I-N-C-U-S, incus and stapes, S-T-A-P-E-S, stapes. They pass sound waves from the eardrum to the cochlea or inner ear. Cochlea or inner ear is the same thing. Okay, the sound waves is passed from the eardrum to the cochlea from this middle ear. Okay, the first one is this pinna, then comes the ear canal, then the sound which enters inside the ear canal, it gets vibrated and it hits in the eardrum, and from the eardrum that sound it reaches to the middle ear, which is made up of three bones, that is malleus, incus and stapes, and from there those sound waves it reaches to the inner ear or cochlea. Okay, and then students, what does this cochlea do? It transforms sound into the nerve signal which is sent to the brain through nerves. Via nerves means through nerves. Okay, the sound waves that enters from the ear canal to the eardrum, it reaches to the middle ear, and from the middle ear it reaches to the cochlea, to the inner ear, where it gets hit to the nerve, and that nerve it is connected to the brain, and then the brain recognizes what sound you are listening, and then you get the response. So students, sometimes when you hear a loud noise, you feel like closing your ears, yes or no? Because that loud noise, your ears cannot take that loud noise, and your brain, it gives you the response that you need to close your ears so that the eardrums do not get affected from that loud noise. Okay, so this is the function of the cochlea. It transforms sound into nerve signal which is sent to the brain via nerves, that means through nerves. Alright. So students, this is the pictorial diagram of the different parts of the ear. You can see the pinna, the outer part, then the ear canal. You can see it is written there. Then the eardrum. Okay. Then the middle ear, which is made up of three bones, that is malleus, incus and stapes. Okay. Then comes the inner ear or the cochlea, which is connected to different nerves which sends the message to the brain, through which you can recognize the sound that is going on around you. Okay. And now students, let us study about the nose. The nose helps us to detect different odors. It helps us to detect different odors. Odor means the different smell around us. Okay. It also helps in breathing. We breathe with the help of the nose. Our nose have two holes, that is the nostrils. These two holes are the nostrils that is present in our nose, through which we take in oxygen and we excrete the carbon dioxide. Okay. Nose contains two nostrils that are lined with hair and mucus to trap dirt from the air. The nostril leads to a nasal cavity that is lined with cells sensitive to smell. These cells detect smell and send message to the brain through the nerve. Now, what is present in this nose? See, the nose, it helps us to detect the different odors. Odors means the different smell of the body, not of the body, of the surrounding. Sorry. It also helps in breathing. We breathe with the help of our nose. Yes or no? Then the nose contains two nostrils. These are the two nostrils of the nose. Okay? That are lined with hair. There are some tiny hair inside your nose. And there is mucus in your nose. That means the dirt that is present in the air, it gets trapped inside the nose. That means it doesn't allow that dirt to get inside your body. It gets trapped inside that hair and the mucus. Okay. And the nostril lead to the nasal cavity, and there is a nasal cavity inside the nostril. This nasal cavity, it leads here. Okay. And it is connected with the sensitive nerves which help us to detect the smell. The smell that we detect around. When we smell a flower, we get a sweet smell of the flower. When we stand nearby a drain or some dirty place, we get the pungent smell. And how those good smell and the bad smell is detected? With the help of this sensitive cells that is present in the nasal cavity. Okay. That sensitive smell, it is sent to the brain with the help of that sensitive nerves that is present in the nasal cavity, and then it helps us to detect the smell around us. Okay. Then comes the tongue. Okay. Now let us study about the tongue. And now students, let us study about the tongue. The tongue helps us to sense different tastes such as sweet, sour, bitter and salty. The food that we eat, it has got different taste. And how do we sense the taste of the different food? With the help of the tongue. Okay. It has numerous taste buds located all over the surface that detects different taste and pass on nerve signal to the brain via nerves. That means through nerves. How do we get the taste of the different food? Through tongue, because there are different taste buds that is located in our tongue in different parts. Through that we get the different taste of the food like sweet, sour, bitter, salty. These are the different taste of the food that is sensed with the help of the tongue. And this tongue, it also contains the nerve signal that carries the taste to the brain, and through which we can come to know that what are we eating and how is the taste of the food that we are eating. Okay. And the next sense organs, it is skin. What does our skin help us to do? We can feel with the help of our skin. The feeling of hotness, the feeling of coldness, when something bites us, when somebody pinches us, how do we feel? We feel with the help of our skin. The skin helps us to feel, touch and sense heat, cold, pressure and pain. Okay, these are the different things that we can feel with the help of our skin. It forms a continuous layer around the entire body. Our whole body is made up of skin. Yes or no? From face to the toe. It is made up of skin, which help us to sense the different touch, like touch, the hotness, the coldness, the pain. Everything we feel through the skin. Under the skin surface of the skin, there are many nerves that detect touch and send nerve impulse to the brain. And below the skin, there are nerves which detect the touch or feel from the body, and it sends that impulse, that means that stimulus to the brain, through which we come to know what are we feeling or what are we touching. Okay, so this is the function of the skin. Alright, this is all about this nervous system. I hope you understood this. Nervous system, it begins from the brain, then the spinal cord, then nerves, then reflex section, okay, then the different sense organs, the eyes, ears, nose, tongue and skin. There are different parts of the eye like cornea, iris, pupil, retina, lens and optic nerve, and even the ear has got different parts, that is the pinna, ear canal, eardrum, middle ear, cochlea, okay, then the nose, tongue and skin. So these are the different organs of the nervous system that together forms a nervous system through which we can feel, we get the information what our body needs to perform. Okay, so students, I hope you understood this chapter. Soon you will get the worksheet related with this chapter. Okay, I will see you soon in the next class.